How?
Well, because it's a linear function, so the f prime would be the slope. They both have the same slope. I think
Correct, yeah, whatever,
The
right,
slope
f
was, the slope would be equal
minus
to each
itself, yeah, would
other.
be,
Which is weird because it says A is bigger than B. But I mean, I guess, oh, well, they are, but.
the same slope at this point, and slope at that point.
I guess.
Yeah. Okay, what do they want you to do here?
On 12.
What is
Plug in.
X?
Okay. Let's go back. Basically,
Plug in, what is it,
The first.
at 2 at the top one?
Yeah.
That's the one that equals 2. So what's the limit?
you almost had me. That would be if I wanted to know the function value.
Oh, and then you have.
But for the limit, there are two things I need to consider.
Both sides are,
The left side and the right side. In order to have a limit at a point, I need to have a left limit equal to a right limit. So they basically want you to plug 2 into both pieces of this and see if you get the exact same answer. If you do, that's your limit. If you don't,
nice.
no limit, okay? Left side, stick in 2.
Natural log of 2.
Natural log of 2. Right side, limit.
4 natural
Four
log of
natural
2. Those don't equal 7.
Yep, I think it's pretty clear those are not equal, so this limit does not exist.
Or non-existent.
E.
Nice try.
Dang.
This one looks like a limit question too. The graph of the function f, tell you what, while y'all are reading, I'll go ahead and clear the space. Everybody cool on the first part?
Yeah.
How many we fit? 12 questions, pretty good. All right, the graph of the function f shown above has a vertical tangent at the point 2, 0, where's 2, 0? Okay, that kind of makes sense. And horizontal tangents at 1, -1, and 3, 1 for what values of x between -2 and 4 is f not differentiable?
Is there horizontal vertical tangent at 0, or is that just?
You tell me.
0? No, maybe not.
Well, let's see what your answer is. For what values between -2 and 4 is f not differentiable?
0 is 1,
Why?
because the right side is unequal to the side. I
Uh,
mean, the limit of left and the limit of right are not equal to each other.
That's not enough for differentiable. For instance, this has a left-hand limit and a right-hand limit that's the same, but it's not differentiable there. Okay, yeah, big reason that 0 doesn't work is because it's not continuous.
So C's out.
Okay, so yes, a bad spot is at 0.
But if they don't, if it's the limit
Oh, wait,
of
not
right and
really.
left don't equal each other,
Then it's not continuous.
which means it would be derivative,
Obviously can't have a derivative there, yes.
which is, that's all it's asking, so wouldn't that be reasonable enough? They're just asking, is it not derivative?
Yeah, but you still have to verify there's no point.
Right, but you said,
Yeah.
what I wanted you to get away from was,
He wants you to know why.
you need to go further. Even if the limits do exist, if you're gonna use that argument, that the limit from the left, the limit from the right are equal in the same thing, that's not enough to say you're differentiable.
Yeah, so we're just trying to, we're not differential.
But he wants to make
Okay,
sure you
so, is there anywhere else that we're not differentiable?
2,
Why?
but it's a vertical, so.
Right, but it is continuous there.
Yeah, I understand, but I'm just saying if it's not continuous, then it's not.
Right, good, throw it out, good, I like that. And then 2, because we have a vertical tangent. By the way, not only is that connected, but it's smooth. That is a smooth transition there, it's not a cusp. But the derivative doesn't exist there because the derivative would be undefined. You would be dividing by 0 because it's a vertical tangent there. So 0 and 2, B.
Which is the way right vertical tangent.
A particle moves along the x-axis so that its position is given by this. Notice how they like to use x of t or s of t for their positions. Don't let the x of t bother you, that the x is actually a parameter where it's not a variable anymore. X of t is t squared minus 6t plus 5. For what value of t is the velocity of the particle 0? What's our game plan?
Take
Velocity
derivative,
Derivative, then do what?
say equals 0.
Roger that. Velocity is
2t minus 6.
equals 0 when?
3.
Done.
Ta-da.
We just bought back some of those seconds that we wasted before. 15. Oh, snap. All right, big F. Antiderivative from 0 to x. That was my nickname at college, by the way, big F.
Dang, I want to answer, I can't. I'm just
What do we want, F prime of 2? All right, what's our game plan?
not use that.
Correct.
Just saying. Oh.
It's, you don't have, it's just, you
It's,
plug it
you-
to the,
You trade out the t's for the,
yeah.
Okay, that's step 1, trade out t's for x's derivative,
Then
derivative,
plug
square
in two,
root of x
so-
cubed plus 1. So F. big F.
9, bam.
No, I think no.
Square root of 9, 3, bam.
Okay. Square root of 9, 3, bam.
Well,
9 wasn't the
Shannon-
answer, square root is.
Yay!
Yay, D, there you go. This one they could have made a little bit more irritating by not putting an x here. If they put like a 2x or something, then it changes what your derivative is. So just be careful that if we, just swap out the x's and t's. Be careful that that's all you need to do. 16.
Derivative.
If f, okay, this is straight up derivative, no bells, no whistles. F of x is equal to sine of e to the negative x. Is that right? Okay,
So,
f prime.
2 chains.
Yes,
2 chains.
kind of, yeah, okay.
Cosine of thing,
Who's sorry, was it you that
times.
irritated, who got irritated by that last semester? I think he would say that, you're like, who's that thing? I think Shannon was like, isn't that thing?
Yeah.
You want me to just say everything that's in there?
What's
Yeah.
that mean? I
I
can't
think it
remember.
was you, yeah.
It was,
Voice
she's like, it's not just a thing.
Okay,
I
good.
can't remember
She's
how to
accepted
fix
it now.
How do you value, it depends how you value numbers and their lives.
Cause she was like trying to copy it down or something, and she couldn't, she always got it.
All right, go ahead.
E to the, e to the.
We need to chain it with
yeah.
what's inside. What's
E to the
derivative?
negative x.
Good.
Derivative of negative x is like 1.
All right, so I need to find that
Down.
somewhere.
See.
Negative e to the negative x times cosine negative x.
It's
E?
d. Nope,
It's e, isn't it?
Yeah.
yeah,
E, okay.
it pulls the negative all the way to 1.
Yeah, look at all the algebra crap they have there. C is misleading because that's the way Michael likes to write his
Yeah, what's C?
multiplication. Yeah, he just likes to do dot minus, so.
C,
Is that you? Is that Gordon?
I like to do dots, but what?
Because if you just do dot without the parentheses, then your
Then you
answer
can't
looks
see
like
that,
C.
yeah.
Looks like a minus sign instead of a multiplication.
Yeah, that's too late, see, we're not putting dot there.
Huh?
Parentheses.
Oh,
Twice different.
please tell me you're gonna get this one right.
Of course.
Oh.
Please tell me.
So,
So is that the graph of F or the graph of
oh, twice.
This is F.
equal.
The graph
That's
of
what I
a
thought.
twice differentiable function f is shown above, which of the following is
Okay.
true?
F of 1 is 0, so you just write that down.
Okay, f of 1 is 0.
F prime is positive,
F prime of 1,
prime number is positive number.
positive.
F double prime is negative, but it's concave down.
F double prime of 1 is negative because it's concave down.
And so E is your answer.
So it's,
No,
so
E is
it's
your
double,
Yes, D.
double prime, regular, single prime, so D.
Yay! These are the times she won't be guessing B though, so she'll do them wrong.
Yeah.
Because she'll think she'll know the answer.
They know, this was the decoy test, and now everybody thinks, it's the D test.
What's so fun?
Just the way he said it.
I haven't seen C yet.
I know.
We
Isn't
haven't-
it how it goes?
We haven't had any
C's.
Well, we've had C's on the.
Oh, no,
there's a
there's
C right
not
there,
any
14.
Well, we haven't had to guess on any cities, is that what you're saying?
And A is made a very, very.
She
Yeah,
says it
I
knows
know,
them because
yeah.
she's like
How
D.
with A then?
I had 2 C's.
We've got 2 Cs? Okay.
At least.
What are we up to now? 18?
2 A's.
An equation of the line tangent to the graph, okay, yawn fest, here we go. Y is equal to x plus cosine of x at the point 0, 1. They want a tangent line. Action.
Sorry, yawn fest over here.
Oh, annoying. Okay, take a derivative.
When in doubt, take a derivative. Yeah.
One
You're
plus
slow.
negatives, 1 minus sign is X.
Is that my teacher slogan? Yeah. So we need y prime of what?
0.
Okay, 1, yeah, sine of 0 is 0, so 1. My equation is gonna be y minus 1 equal to 1 times x minus 0, they probably,
Your form.
it's no big deal, whatever. So we get y equals x plus 1,
Yeah. Because it literally, the whole left side is really just saying
Yeah.
X. Hey, we're X.
it's not that big a deal. I think we can handle scoot something over.
I like your right side. Hey, a fancy X and minus.
Yeah, just get all
Yeah,
that.
lots of, just make it.
With
look-
all your identities thrown in, minus 0 times 1, there you go.
Dude.
Everything you can do to not do anything.
Make a giant formula of just times
So it's
equals
just
9, 0. Amazing.
Oh, sweet, let's see how many, you get this one wrong.
Aw.
Okay, so f double
Isn't that
prime
nice?
is equal to x, x plus 1, and x minus 2 squared. The question is, dear children, where does f have points of inflection?
So let's have D equals 0.
Okay, so that equals 0. They were kind enough to start me at f double prime, that was sweet. So where are my possible points of inflection?
The first one's 0, negative 1. And then the next one would be what? 2?
Okay,
E.
0, negative 1, and 2.
Oh my. Well, let's.
It's actually c.
Yay.
No 2.
We should,
Do you know why?
because if you plug in, if you plug in any negative.
If you do your number line, it doesn't actually change it to. So it has to be a point of inflection if it actually changes sign. And the reason it's not gonna change sign is because that's a double root. So that's kind of a shortcut if you wanna figure out where it's gonna hop over. Any even number of roots, like a square or a 4 or something like that, it doesn't change sign. But any odd number, like first or third or fifth, it will change sign. So thanks for playing with 0 and negative 1. And I'll leave it to you to test your number lines. That is C. Chelsea's
Just plug
man.
in like
Believe it.
negative a half, negative.
Yeah, it's not like yourself now, plugging stuff in, whatever.
Positive,
Have
negative,
fun with
positive, negative, yeah.
Ooh, awesome. What are the values of k
Oh my god.
for which negative 3 to k of x squared dx is equal to 0?
3 points now. Give.
What do you got?
3 points give me now.
3?
Yeah. So,
The answer is 3, see?
yeah. One, idiot.
But are you, Mr. President?
Not right, actually.
No, it is not right. I can tell you an obvious one.
Yeah, it is. Negative. Oh, no. Never mind, no, never mind. I'm thinking it from zero, I'm thinking from zero, then two, three, I'm just thinking of the graph itself.
Yeah, it's just a parabola.
Yeah, it is, and then, so, yeah, that's what it was.
There's one obvious answer. No,
No.
No,
no.
it's,
Actually, I think there's only one answer to this.
-3.
-3, because you start and end at -3, you don't actually get any area, so that's the obvious one. But that only narrows it down to A, D, and E. Here's it, now, you can really do this one without doing any work at all. That's a parabola, x squared. X squared is always above the x-axis. In order for us to have an area of 0, we need some negative to cancel. Nothing's ever gonna cancel, so the only place we're gonna be equal to 0 is right at the starting point. Okay, if you did this with mathematically, do the antiderivative, 1/3 x cubed from -3 to k, and have that equal 0. Okay, so you get
I was right again.
1/3 k cubed minus, so you got 3, what do we get? 27, 3, -9 plus 9, so plus 9 equals 0. All right, solve for k. So we get 1/3 k cubed is equal to -9. K cubed equals -27. The cube root is -3. Or, you start and stop at the same place, you get an area of 0. You did also have to know that this one was always above and it was never gonna cancel out again to play that -3 trick. Was that A?
Yeah.
Alright, so this one you could have gotten definitively algebraically, or you could have been graph savvy and known that one's never gonna cancel. Okay? I'll leave it to you to decide how you wanna waste your time. Oh my word, look at this! 21 dy dt is equal to ky.
Okay. K's a non-zero constant.
K is a non-zero constant, got it. So what's y? Yes, it is. How do you know that?
Is that formula?
That's our shortcut, yeah, this one, you can, yeah, go through the math if you want to, but this is gonna end up being y equals c e to the kt. So just pick something that looks like that. B, that could be it. Good, thank you for shaving that down to 10 seconds, done.
And we knew it.
And now you have to see separated variables, antiderivatives, have fun with that, but
Okay.
no.
Once I separated the barrels, I'm like, oh yeah, you know this already.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, this is what I mean, you don't need to know that. You could have gotten the answer, but man, did that just knock off probably a good minute to a minute and a half on a good day.
On a bad day, oof.
Oh, that day we'd be guessing DC, flip a coin, whatever it is.
Get the answer.
You need a coin with Chelsea's head on one side and Shan's head on the other, and when you flip it, that's
C.
just, is it C or D? Yeah. That's the only choice you ever make, is C versus D.
Well, see, Chelsea
I just
had to
figured-
pick
I just
C.
did-
Or you look over at both of them, and whichever one looks more confident at the time, that's the
I
answer
just
you
rolled a
go with.
D5.
Yeah. Do it.
I just rolled a D5.
D5, yeah, or D10 and a half,
Yeah, 10.5 one.
because there isn't a D5,
Yeah, there is.
not a regular D5.
No,
It's-
you can't get one. It's
It's
a football shape.
right,
It's like a
it's,
pen.
it's not the exact same chance of every side happening, but you do a D10 and a half, it's uniformly, whatever. D10 is not what we call a platonic, or a D5 is not a platonic solid. So you can't do that.
But
Neither
it's
is
just like-
D10 for that matter.
Pretty much you just roll pencil.
Okay.
Dice knowledge getting dropped down.
Is it pencil for 5 sides, or is it 6?
It's like a pencil, but it's with 5 sides, but it's bigger.
Yeah. The function f is given by f of x equals x squared plus, I'm sorry,
Fireballs.
what's the fourth? Plus x squared minus 2. On which of the following intervals is f increasing?
That's first one.
Oh, we're doing that.
Did you say, are we doing math?
Yeah, I was thinking about something. Oh,
My gut's telling me C on this one. I'm going with Chelsea.
I'm gonna find out it's increasing. 0. I don't know.
Alright, what do we need to do?
Taking it.
Derivative.
Oh,
4x cubed plus 2x, set it equal to 0.
it's funny, you're right. You're not, actually, wait, no. Yes, maybe.
Yeah, no, maybe not.
I'm thinking,
Okay.
yeah, it's.
I would factor out a 2x, leaving behind 2x squared plus 1. Yep, there it is. When you set that equal to 0, this gives you 0. That never equals 0, so thanks for playing, which is why they have those plus or minus 1 over the root of 2, because people may have incorrectly put a minus sign in there for some reason and tried to solve that. Okay?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, you might put the minus side way on.
Well, if this is minus sign, then you do get 1 over root of 2, as your plus or minus that, but this doesn't give you any solutions.
Equals 0.
Yeah, so x equals 0, then test your number line, and because I know that's an upward going 4th degree, it does this. So it's the
2i.
second one. This is gonna be, do your little number line if you feel like it, it'll be negative positive.
Once you get.
What is that, C?
Mhm.
C for Chelsea.
Minus 1 to this side. Oh.
Or D for Deshannon.
No.
At least he said a
Right.
nice word.
A for Amber.
Could have said a lot.
What they actually, how do they get 1 over the square root of 2? Don't you get like I?
Yeah, if you know what you're doing, you get I. But some people might think, well, there's a second parentheses, it's gotta give me more numbers, and so they would second guess themselves and say, maybe I missed a minus sign somewhere.
2 I's.
Well, they wouldn't do the I's, they would try and solve
Oh, yeah.
it, and then they would say, well, it looks like 1 over root of 2, maybe I just messed up a
Then
minus sign
they would
somewhere.
think it's from 0 to 2i.
Anyway.
They would not think that the AP people would put an I answer on there, so they would try and solve this, and they would think to themselves, I've made a mistake, the answer's probably 1 over root of 2, and I just missed a minus sign somewhere. So they would talk themselves out of a right answer. Oh, here we go, 23. The graph of f is shown in the figure above. Which of the following could be the graph of the derivative of f?
The derivative, so, okay.
Alrighty, I'm gonna go ahead and rule out B.
Yeah.
I want to say, I want to say
I'm gonna rule out
A.
E too.
I'm just going to say it's A. And get it over with.
I'm going to agree with you. Can you tell me why?
Because from this, is all this, from, I don't know what that point is, but where that point where that maximum is, it has to be 0, so it has to be, it's either gonna be A, C, or E.
Okay.
All it's a positive slope for the first part, so it has to be either E or A, and it's not a straight line, because it's not constant, so.
The concavity changes to me, yeah, right, the
Yeah.
concavity changes, so it's not gonna be necessarily linear, so you're right, hey, very good. That is exactly how you should be thinking about that one.
I like these ones, then the other one would be,
Now be careful, yeah, don't, here's what I wanna say, warning,
17.
warning.
Don't just.
When you see these kind of problems where they say, here's a graph, now tell me something about the other graph, you have to get your brain right, because there's a difference between asking, if this is f, what does f prime look like? Versus, if this is f prime, what does f look like? Okay, depending on which direction your derivative or antiderivative is going, it makes you look at the problems very differently. I love them, they're great and easy, you just have to have your brain in the right mindset.
I'm glad it's fast when it
24.
Ooh.
The maximum acceleration attained by, oh, y'all go get this one. Alright, the maximum acceleration attained by the particle in the interval from 0 to 3, whose velocity is given. Alright, v of t is equal to t cubed minus 3t squared plus 12t plus 4. And we are to find where the maximum acceleration occurs. And action.
Maximum acceleration, take a derivative,
Plus 12, yeah.
Okay?
take a derivative.
Where did,
Oh,
you were saying to him.
sorry.
Okay.
Take another derivative.
No, because it's already velocity.
We need the jerk.
I remember you said that. Now what?
So equals 0.
Out of 3. Did I do that right?
Mhm.
Yes. Okay, let's try that AC method.
It's not gonna work, by the way.
It's not. 'Cause you were
It's not gonna factor, and if you try the quadratic formula, you're gonna get an I in the problem. So this never equals 0. What does that mean?
So it has to be an endpoint.
Okay,
So 3.
So plug in 3 and plug in
to what?
to the acceleration.
Yeah, that one.
3 and plug in 0.
Okay. Well, 0 is easy. 12.
Might be 12.
3, all right, 9 times 3 is 27, 27 minus 18 is 8, no, 9. 9 plus 12 is 21.
Ooh, at 3. Next
3 a choice?
Let me tell you.
Yeah, and so is 12.
Huh? It's asking you what time, right?
21, yeah, at.
Or is it asking you,
It's given at,
The max.
what is the max?
what is the maximum acceleration? So 21.
Yeah.
Great, wrong answer. You went and circled it. Great, wrong answer.
It's just like it's
Why?
beats from gold.
Okay, how do we find maxes and mins?
Take,
Where it changes.
we're changing.
I don't like the word it. How do we find the maximum or minimum of a function? You take the derivative of that function. What did I want to find the maximum or minimum of?
The velocity.
No, I wanted to find the maximum
have to take the
acceleration.
Oh.
So we have to take the acceleration's derivative.
We need the jerk! I knew it! I knew it!
Okay,
Why
great
does he keep
crap,
calling it that?
because it is the jerk, third derivative is the jerk.
Sure.
I thought that you were just talking about taking derivative. I was like,
Why-
we did that.
why
I
is
didn't
it
know that we
called a
already
jerk?
like did that.
Because-
It's used in car manufacturing. If you can set the third derivative of your transmission to be a constant, then it means the change between the gears is the smoothest you can get it. So when you know when your gear changes from first to second to third, that there is no jerk, there's no jerk to it.
Why do you keep saying we need a jerk?
Because, okay. Here's the thing, when we take maxes, or to find maxes and mins, we take a derivative. Easy. But the thing they wanted me to take the max or min of was the acceleration, so I need to start with the acceleration's derivative,
Which is jerk.
which is the jerk. They didn't come class, that's not something we actually teach in calculus class, but there you go. So what is A prime?
Not automotive?
I'm not sure the automotive kids can handle it, yeah.
I don't know, some of them.
I don't know, Hunter, who are the other kids that, those two kids that were here at the beginning of the first 2 days of
Do
school?
you think Tommy could,
Tommy Tran? Yeah, he'd understand this, but he needed to start a year earlier, he needed to do algebra
Dylan
1.
could have.
Right, Dylan and Hunter,
Eventually.
yeah, would have been able to understand it.
16
Sorry.
minus T.
What is this, 6t minus 6,
I mean, yeah.
so we get t equals 1. And now we'll take 1 and plug it back into the acceleration. By the way, we don't really need to test this on a number line, because they would not have asked me this question if it wasn't gonna be the max, okay?
For multiple choice, you can normally just rule out things.
Normally you can, yeah. That's the way you should
Unless there
think
is
we
a,
can.
like,
If we had found two possibilities, we need to test it.
or if there's like a non-existent answer.
1, 2, 3, yeah, 9, I think.
Hey,
Okay, there we go. So I'm glad they put 21 down there.
They have
It's a
21
nice little
intro.
red herring. Look at that.
So that's how you said when I said jerk, you're like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna remember you
I
said
don't
that.
know where they
I
moved that
knew it
forward,
too.
but-
I don't know why.
or
It's not following my gut. I knew we need to take another.
I'm so confused why I keep calling him a jerk.
That's just the third name.
I
Position,
get you.
velocity,
I get you.
acceleration, jerk.
The name of it.
Jerk.
Why do we call it acceleration? 'Cause it's acceleration.
What, clearly, yeah. What is the area of the region between the graphs of y equals x squared and y equals negative x on the interval from 0 to 2? Okay, first area question we've seen, isn't it? Well, we've seen somewhere we had to count area, but it's really the first. Yeah. Really
Very
area
nice
question.
one.
So we need to know which one's on top and which one's on bottom and if they change.
They do.
They do change, but not
Yeah.
in, actually, no. They do change at 0. 0 back is one thing, 0 forward it's another thing.
But, and
Which
then
is
it
called
changes.
zero
Or
forward.
later.
0 forward. So I'm picturing a little negative line like this and a parabola doing like that. So yeah, here's one little chunk and here's, we're doing this one. So x squared is gonna be on top. From 0 to 2 of the x squared, I'm gonna write minus a negative x, even though that's plus x. Yeah. All right, so that'll be plus x. Antiderivative is going to be 1/3 x cubed, and antiderivative of x is gonna be 1/2 x squared. And we'll evaluate that from 0 to 2. They were nice enough to give me a 0, that's kind. We get 8/3 plus 2 minus 0, so 6 14/3. Check me on that, I think that's
D.
right, 14/3. D. Is that right?
Is it? Yes!
Shannon got another one right.
Shane, you're doing pretty good.
We should have done that at the beginning, everybody just pick a letter and we'll see who
I
who
got
gets the
A.
most right.
I'm not
You're
gonna
guessing.
win.
26. Is this our last? Yep, okay. The function f is continuous on a closed interval from 0 to 2 and has values that are given in the, given in the table above. The equation f of x equals 1/2 must have at least 2 solutions in the interval from 0 to 2 if k equals what? Ooh, that's sexy.
Ooh. I'm just guessing.
Which one did you pick?
Huh?
Which one did you pick?
She's like, I always pick. No, let me actually look at it.